Hello, 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 people. Chelsea won, Arsenal won. And that's about it to it. I'm not gonna lie, that's about it to it. I'd like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. And I'm kind of missing words to describe what even happened in this game because technically we had one man advantage, right? But it didn't feel like that. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, it didn't happen instantly, but it happened with time. Could have been down to 10 men. Technically, they could have had multiple sending offs, but obviously, Taylor was on one today. But I'm not gonna blame the ref. I'm not gonna blame the ref because today we were shocking. We were shocking. We were shambolic. We dropped points against 10 men. Saliba injured, by the way, on top of all that before the game, since Mosquera and Hincapie started. So it will be very interesting to see for how long this guy is going to be out now. So yeah, definitely lots of stuff to talk about, but yeah, it's definitely not good. Definitely not good. Oh, but we haven't lost at the bridge since Arteta is here. Oh, but we haven't lost at the bridge for 6-7 years straight. So goddamn effing what? To some extent, because let's be real, we should have won this game, and not because of the performance, not because of anything like that, but we should have. If we wanted to make a statement, if we wanted to pull away, if we wanted to have some extra advantage, cushion, all this stuff, we should have won today. And we didn't. We lost. We drew. But it feels like a loss at the end of the day because, yes, Chelsea are 6 points behind of us still. But Man City won. Man City won yesterday. They are only 5 points behind us now. It used to be 7. It is now 5. And our players, like, you could feel that 3 games in a week to that kind of a caliber for our players, they cannot handle it. They genuinely cannot handle it. It did because the game against Spurs, against Bayern Munich, they were drained mentally. Focus wasn't there. We were so nervous all over the place most of the time. Couldn't string proper passes together for longest time. Midfield was open wider than Bunny Blue and everything. Like, it definitely was not great watch whatsoever. We were shambolic. Genuinely, we were shambolic, to say the least. Performance was not there. Distribution was not there. Nothing was there. We didn't deserve to win this game. We didn't deserve to win this game at all. But performance, the way we drew this game, the way we played today, is unacceptable to say the least. And again, we drop points to some extent when it matters the most. When the pressure mounts, when the pressure is at its peak, we tend to fumble the bag. And again, we did that today. Obviously, some instances didn't help, some issues, some situations. God knows what's going to happen with Saliba because he's out. He has a knock. What's going to happen there? I have no idea. Genuinely no idea. So definitely, give me a sec. Definitely, I don't know where to go from there because Saliba and everything, it's definitely going to be a mystery what's going to happen now. You could, like, as I said, the mental thing is a very big aspect of Arsenal in general, and it has been like that for years, even under Arsene Wenger, right? And that we had 3 massive games this week. In 1 week, in span of 7 days, we had Spurs, we had Bayern Munich, and we had Chelsea, right? 2 home games, 1 away game. And against Spurs, we put out a lot of emotions. And against Bayern Munich, we even put out even more emotions because that was one of those teams we couldn't get over no matter how you look at it, no matter how we tried. And we got one over them during this week. And it felt like mentally we were drained. Emotionally, we were drained. The focus was not there. Misplaced passes, misplaced everything to some extent. But at the end of the day, yeah. People say it's a 1-point game, it's a draw, and everything should be happy and everything. I'm not happy. It's my right not to be happy. If you're happy, that's up to you, from what I have seen on social media for now. But they had 10 men. And they scored first. From a set piece, by the way, ironically enough. We didn't even put ourselves in a position that we, to some extent, could convincingly win the game. Kukureya, Saliba, Colwill, Reece James, no matter how you look at it, yes, they were not great, but they got the job done. And somehow Arsenal tend to struggle against teams that have 10 men. It happened against Fulham a few years ago, happened against Man United last year, and this year it happens against Chelsea. Not sure what is happening there with that, but yeah, that definitely is something weird. Something weird is around that. Definitely something weird around that. But yeah, people, smash the like, subscribe if you're new. But yeah, big up Mubarak. Big up Mubarak. We'll see today. The truth is Arsenal need left. Yeah, we need left wingers. Been saying that for the longest time, yet people say we don't need a left winger. So I guess I know nothing. Let's just put it that way. But ultimately, yeah, Trossard injured. Yeah, might be an issue, but we cannot blame that. We definitely cannot blame Trossard being out for the things we did and we didn't do. Also, in the last seconds of the game, Timber literally screwed up Gyökeres. To that cross by Madueke was on point. Timber jumped, hit the ball away, and yeah, Gyökeres, based on trajectory of the ball and everything, it was landing ideally on Gyökeres' head to score a last-second dagger to make it 2-1 Arsenal. And if that goes in, obviously none of this talk, to a certain extent, let's be real, because the performance was shambles, would not be happening. At the same time, it is happening. The most pressure when it happens, Arsenal tend to crumble. And that is a big worry. On the upside, though, as people are spinning upsides on all of this, as they always are, Arsenal have easy away game schedule right now. We have to play Spurs away, Villa away still, and rest of the teams are, well, technically speaking, light work away, because we have City at home. City away we still have to play, right? We have Liverpool at home, United at home, Chelsea at home, the teams that are our main competitors at home. But to some extent as well, it's not it. Nothing to be too excited about, let's just put it that way. We all know that for Arsenal, the toughest time for Arsenal, when they crumble the most, is December, January, February. That period of time at certain stage. And I'm a bit worried right now. I shouldn't be, but I am. Because Gabriel is out. He should be back at some point, right? Soon, hopefully. Saliba is out now. He had a knock. He couldn't in the training. He got it. He didn't play. And we saw that this was only the second time, by the way, in 3 years. Second time in 3 years when Arsenal could not field at center back either Saliba or Gabriel or both. Only the second time. Obviously, we'll see how that's going to happen, where we're going to see where that's going to go. But this every single time when Arsenal say it's a knock, I get instantly worried, to say the least. Instantly worried, because with Arsenal, it's never what they say on the face value. That for me is a big issue. Obviously, and I think I did not mention this about 3 minutes ago, one of the biggest issues for Arsenal, the players were drained physically as well. Same 11s pretty much every single game. I think that played a very big pivotal role in the things we saw today, in the way things went today, and how everything unfolded over time. Let's just put it that way. Even if Arsenal conceded, I don't blame that corner, yeah. But let's be real. When you play with 10 men, the best case scenario for you to score, not to overcommit players forward, are set pieces. And somehow Arsenal, again, conceded from that. Same happened against Fulham when we played 10-man Fulham at the Emirates, and we drew to them 2-2. Same thing happened there. Big up Marlon, the left side. Yeah, the left side definitely was not great. Hincapié and Mosquera. I'm not going to say they don't work. I'm not going to say that they don't work together, for the sheer and utter reason that this was their first game together. Like full 90. Because mostly we have Gabriel and Saliba. Gabriel or Hincapié or Mosquera, or Saliba and Hincapié or Mosquera. We haven't had this dynamic of Mosquera and Hincapié at all too much together. So I think it's gonna take time for them to adjust to each other. The question is, how long is Saliba gonna be out for? Because that as well is gonna play a very crucial role in the future for Arsenal. Definitely is gonna play a very crucial role for Arsenal overall. They don't have the chemistry. They don't have the chemistry because they don't play together, and that basically stems from everything at the end of the day. We can't attack without. For me, the interesting part was we all know that Madueke is the best at right wing compared to left wing, right? Saka, he has played on occasion as a left winger. Why not switch it around? Madueke is more direct, more dangerous, and there was a bigger chance that he could actually get Cucurella the second yellow. There was a big possibility of that as well. He could get Cucurella the second yellow as well. So it would be interesting to see how that's going to go. Would have been interesting. But yeah, at the end of the day, Saka got an assist today, by the way. He got an assist for Arsenal's only goal. Saka's first assist in Premier League in exactly 365 days or a year. Last time Saka assisted in Premier League was on November 30th, 2024 against West Ham when we beat them 5-2. Interesting. That's just a random fact. Just a random fact. Saka was poor today. Without shadow of a doubt, he got an assist, but overall he was definitely poor. And the whole team was poor. There's no argument about that. Zubimendi today was just, to say the least, I don't even know how to describe Zubimendi today. Rubbish? Because he got out-muscled, outdone, outclassed, and everything. And that, for me, was the biggest worry when we signed Zubimendi in these type of games, what's going to happen to him. And today was one of those prime examples where he felt a bit out of his depth at times, right? Then again, as I said before, fatigue definitely plays a big role. 7 days, 3 games, and all 3 games are of the highest intensity and highest caliber. It's not like we had to play Kairat. It's not like we had to play Leeds or something like that, and we had to play, I don't know, Burnley, for example. We had to play Spurs, we had to play Bayern Munich, and we had to play Chelsea. So fatigue, match fitness, and preparedness definitely went into that, without shadow of a doubt. Chelsea, obviously, they can rotate however they please to some extent. Let's be real, because they have so many players, they can yield about 50 11s, so they can stay somewhat partially fresh, also to a very big extent. But props to Chelsea as well. They went down to 10 men. They were very organized, very, very tough to break. On corners, we did nothing, and they managed to score a corner on us. So props to Chelsea as well for that one. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, we definitely didn't play well to win, and we had no right to win the game, exactly. We had no right. We didn't play well enough. But again, that is on the players and the manager as well to some extent. You cannot just scapegoat in general or excuse anything of this, because no matter how you look at it, we didn't play well enough to win at the end of the season can result in a situation where, well, we don't win the league. We don't win a trophy. We win nothing because we didn't play well to win against Liverpool. We didn't play well to win against City. We didn't play well to win against Sunderland. And today as well, we didn't play well to win against Chelsea. And cumulatively, we have dropped 9 points. Like, if we look from that perspective, definitely, they add up together over the course of the season. Just the question is to what extent and how many of these point drops and these so-called bad performances we actually going to get. The less we get, the better, obviously. If they start piling up, then we will be in serious issues, in my opinion. Definitely, we would be in serious issues. And let's just put it that way. We should have lost without Saka stepping up. Well, the whole big up Cooper. Big up Cooper. We played with no heart. Huge missed opportunity. Yeah, we missed an opportunity going 9 points clear of Chelsea and 7 points clear of City. Basically, what City did, they closed the gap at the end of the day. And that never is good, because with City, the biggest worry is as soon as you give them even a sniff of a chance, they're like sharks. And there's a reason why we call them the sharks, because as soon as they sniff blood, it can be done. It can be over very, 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 very quickly. But overall today, it was shambles. Well, we can complain. I am complaining with regard of how we performed. That goes without saying. We were bad today, and we drew. right? But at the same time, it was 10-man Chelsea, so it's a bit different story, but it's the same result to some extent. We somehow Arsenal struggle against 10-man teams. Obviously, 10-man teams, they set them defensively a bit more tighter, they defend better, and it's much tougher for the team that has the so-called player advantage to close them up. Also, a football pitch to some extent is so big that one player missing, to a certain extent, let's just put it that way, is not as heavily felt as if it was volleyball, basketball, hockey, handball, place like a game like that, obviously. So it goes either way. It goes either way, but we were not great. Did we deserve a draw? You could say yes. None of the teams did anything exceptional today. So draw at the end of the day is a fair result, but that does not give an excuse for the performance we saw today. Let's just put it that way. Let's just put it that way. Big up Anfield the Red. Big up Anfield the Red. Yeah, Isak scored for you a lot. Do you think he's going to start scoring now for you all? Or is it going to be another one goal and nothing happened? Let's just put it that way. We'll see. We'll see. We were dominated. Well, we were dominated quite a bit. Let's just put it that way. At least possession-wise. Chelsea did not have that many shots to put on the stat sheet, right? Chelsea did not have that many shots to put on the stat sheet and stuff like that, obviously. But at the end of the day, it was not great. Let's just put it that way. It wasn't that great. It was not that great. Like, they didn't have too many shots. They had genuinely like 5 shots on target. Arsenal also had 5 shots on target. Obviously, we pushed a bit later on, but throughout the course of the whole game, pretty much, before they start to sit down and try to exploit the counterattacks, right? They had more possession, but at the end of the day, possession means nothing if you cannot put the ball in the back of the net. And Chelsea had almost no chances to put the ball into the net. Esteban skied 2 great chances to score and everything, especially the first one that basically ended up somewhere in row Z or outside the Stamford Bridge. Let's be real. That could have been even the chance to make it 1-0 already there. But overall, yeah, it was a rough one. Even 10-man, they played a bit better. They played more composed. They definitely showed that 10-man teams definitely are tougher to beat. That goes without saying. That goes without saying. Arteta was holding Rice back as a CM, so Calafiori could get forward. Rice is our engine going forward. Why? Why would you hold him back the way he's been played? I think he was worried about the midfield. But when they got the red card, it was the same old. And to some extent, the midfield as well during the game was so wide open. It was actually concerning. Given this instance of the midfielders they have, given the instance of midfielders we have, the open space in the midfield that was available, many times when you watch the attacks, it was actually kind of worrying because nobody didn't exploit that to any way, shape, and form. Nobody. Even with 10 men, when Chelsea had 10 men, Arsenal didn't do anything to try and exploit the advantage of the midfield. Because Chelsea didn't do anything too much in that regard. We should have tried and exploit the disadvantages they had, and we didn't. That is the worrying part. We absolutely did not. Which is a bit of a weird one in that regard. Definitely, it is a bit of a weird one. Isak has arrived. Relax, Anfield. Relax. It's one game. He finally scored first goal for Liverpool. Relax. Yeah, without Trossard, our attack on the left side looked absolutely lost. It definitely looked very lost without Trossard on the left. And Trossard actually has had a very decent season so far on the left side. The thing is, if we actually had a proper left winger we can play there, and not Martinelli, for example, right? Probably would have been a much different story. Yes, maybe Trossard doesn't have the pace, but the technical ability and the finishing ability, shooting, other stuff he possesses, let's just put it that way, it's invaluable to this team to some extent, at this stage at least, until we hopefully get at some point a proper left winger without shadow of a doubt. Bless up, Cooper, bless up. Liverpool have arrived. You won a game, relax. It's not like you beat someone, like not even beat anyone. It's one game. Let's see how you do next week. Let's see how you do during the week. Yeah, Madueke was not great, definitely. I wanted Madueke to see him on the right and Saka on the left. I think that would have been more advantageous because Saka on the left could have been actually much more threatening. Same goes with Madueke. Madueke's best performances to a certain degree for Arsenal actually have been on the right. And playing against Cucurella that was on yellow, there was a chance that he might basically put him on the second yellow. He could have gotten a red. We could have been more direct and more worrying, more troubling for them. Saka on the left as well, it would have given him the opportunity to cross the ball more on his strong foot. Because whenever we play Saka on the right, he has this urge to cut in, which I get it, because left is his strong foot at the end of the day. But to put him on the left would have given us a bit more threatening abilities on the attack, especially since we resolved to crossing the ball, which would have been, I think, more dangerous in that regard. Stein Yildiz, hurry up. Yeah. If Merino didn't touch it, Madueke would have yeah. If Timber didn't touch the ball in the last seconds, Gyökeres could have scored. It goes without saying, but these are the instances of shoulda, woulda, coulda. And against 10-man team, there shouldn't have been no shoulda, woulda, coulda. We actually should have put them to the sword, and we unfortunately didn't. That is on Arsenal, that is on Arteta, that is on the team, that is on us at the end of the day, unfortunately. Semenyo, yeah, he has fallen off big time, 100%. Exactly, 90 minutes against Bayern, 90 minutes against Tottenham. Yeah, that is the big issue here. Technically, people say we have the best bench, best depth in the league. The sad part is, against any of these three teams, we kind of cannot afford to rotate, because the players that we are rotating with, quite a few of them, let's just put it that way, are not good enough to step up. They can play their role for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes as a sub, but to play, let's just say, full 90, 70 minutes as a starter to basically carry the team and lift the team, and to kind of rely on them in these big games, they are not good enough. They are not good enough. Haaland 0 goals in 2 games for the first time for club and country in all competitions. Yeah, Haaland as well. He didn't do anything. City still won 3-2, but it looked like they could have drawn the game against Leeds as well. They barely nicked it at the end thanks to Phil Foden. Yeah, it's not what we wanted, but we can't win every game. True. Our guys were tired. We had pretty much the same 11 every single game. Let's be real. In span of three games, 270 minutes, not including the other time, which probably results in over extra half at least. With the same players, definitely, you could see that our players were definitely not on it. Players were definitely not on it. They were drained. They were absolutely out of it, mentally, physically as well. They got absolutely overrun and overdone, without shadow of a doubt. Big up Hendon. Big up Hendon. I predicted stinky 1-1. It was a hella stinky 1-1, to be honest. The squad is not good enough to some extent. In certain places, let's just put it that way. Not everywhere, but in certain positions, definitely I would agree with that. Exactly. That for me is the biggest thing. People say, oh, Hincapié and Mosquera at center backs are not it. They are not good enough and all this stuff. Right? But if I'm not mistaken, it is their first game playing together. Full 90, by the way. Because 99.9% of the time we have Saliba Gabriel or one of the other, right? Unless we sub them off and then they result in Hincapié and Mosquera as the center backs. As I said before, since 2022-23 season, only the second time Arsenal have had a center back pairing that doesn't include Saliba or Gabriel or both of them. Only for the second time in 3 years. And that says a lot. That definitely says a lot. And this is not anymore on the fact that we don't have the squad depth over the 3 years. It's just that they play together, but they are that good. We just have the substitutions now, replacements we can put into the game, and more or less be maybe not feel as safe, but we can feel to a degree safe that we are not gonna fumble, like we don't have to play Holding and Kivior as two center backs, right? Because obviously Mosquera and Hincapié are massive improvements on them without shadow of a doubt. But at the same time, they don't have the chemistry together. They don't play a lot together at all, pretty much. Hincapié spends some time even at left back. Mosquera has been at right back. They don't have that cohesion how to work together. They don't have that chemistry what Gabriel and Saliba has. Because if you look pound per pound with the similarities, Hincapie is more like Gabriel, Mosquera is more like Saliba. So overall, there could be that chemistry, not to the same level, not to the same degree, because they are not as good as Saliba and Gabriel. But there's definitely they could be as good together. To some, not as good, but to a degree good. The thing is, they just don't get a chance to play together that much. Nowhere near good enough. That is, yeah. Chelsea were very organized. Yeah, with 10 men, definitely. They were extra force for that. We're not gonna come against many teams so well drilled. To be honest, many teams play against us very well drilled. Sunderland played brilliant against us to try nullify, rile us, and show the blueprint. The way they defended set pieces as well, Chelsea. It was something unique to some extent. It also was pretty much expected, and it worked. It worked to a very big degree. Obviously, our corner deliveries also were not on it, but they did an ideal job to block out our players who were doing the run-ins. Right? So basically, what only thing Sanchez had to do was come out of the goal and collect the ball most of the time. So Maresca had tactically definitely done his job. I don't think Maresca at times gets enough credit for being a good tactician, but for this game specifically against Arsenal, he did the job, just like he did against Barcelona. So he gets his flowers today. He definitely gets his flowers today to a very big extent in that regard. Marcelli must never start. Odegaard came on and it was effectively 10 against 10. Odegaard actually didn't have a bad spell. Odegaard was actually somewhat decent when he came on as a sub. Zubimendi definitely dropped the ball big time in the first half, got a yellow, got caught out. He was just... And I hate that I have to say this to some degree, but today Zubimendi felt like he was out of his depth. To some degree. Not fully, but to some degree. But that you could say to many players we had in the team today. Obviously, as I said, the tiredness, the fatigue, the focus was not there at the end of the day. And you can see that they were mishitting easy passes, simple passes, like football 101 passing type of passes. They were mishitting them. They were not on target. They were underhit, overhit. They were just all over the place. Definitely. God forbid that. Yeah, if Declan Rice goes down at any given time of this season, especially right now, with Gabriel being out, Saliba potentially being out, and all this stuff, that could be the end of days. That definitely could unravel our team fully to the very, very dark days. Very dark days, to some extent. Chelsea dominated from the start to finish, but when I tell you I'll come down... Nobody said 4-1. Nobody said 4-1. I said Arsenal are going to win 2-1. That was my prediction before the game. But that obviously was before I said that I saw that Saliba is got injured. And the way we played also. Yikes. Where's Dio? He said we would easily rinse Chelsea. Yeah, true. I understand why I wouldn't keep Rice from getting forward when he makes final third work. Yeah. I don't think Rice was good either. He was ghost. Merino's passing was criminal. Yeah, Merino, Zubimendi, everyone. One thing I will give Rice, he had a great tackle in our own end to defend. Hincapie made an excellent tackle in the first half on Pedro or Estevao. No, on Pedro. Right before Calafiori sent Estevao with a fake shot back to Brazil. I will give Hincapie. He had good moments. I'm going to give Hincapie that. He had very good moments. To be honest, our center backs were not that bad, but you definitely could see that there was massive game rust. The communication was a bit struggling, even though they both speak Spanish. But it definitely also was not there. It was under big question marks. And big up G Wills and the cowardness and bias of our terror rare. It's ugly again. And the fuck taking off Eze when Gyökeres is coming on. This is 10 men and play the two attackers behind Gyökeres. Yeah, that Eze coming off, obviously he had to take Eze off just so he can get Odegaard on. Let's be real, but I would have much rather taken someone else off. Why not play two strikers? Why not play? Why not even sub on so you have two midfielders and just overall go for it? To some extent, nothing to lose. Yes, even if we lost, I would have been pissed off because we would get no points. But at least I want to see go at it. But in this game, for the most of the game, to some extent, being with 11 men against 10 men, we did nothing. To a very high degree, we did absolutely nothing. But we have the best squad in the Prem. Oh, bloody hell! I think we do have the best squad, but this won't use and can't. There is a degree to that, but as well, like some of the players are not it as well. Still, in my opinion, as an Arsenal fan, that result hurt. It doesn't hurt me a bit. It hurts a big. It hurts quite a bit. But for excuse blitz finish 11 versus 11, 10 we should have won. Yep, exactly. If it was 11 versus 11 and stuff like that, maybe it would be an easier pill to swallow. But against 10 men and not putting them to the sword, even chance creation-wise, definitely it's not it. Definitely not it, without shadow of a doubt. Mm-hmm. When they lost the man, our CB have the ball. All the pressure was on our midfield and attack. Yeah, but our midfield again. That for me is the big thing. Keep Eze on, sub on Odegaard. Have two creative midfielders in there. Keep Gyökeres on. Keep Madueke came on. Don't take Eze off. Just don't take Eze off at the end of the day. That definitely would have put us in the good books and potentially bigger chances of doing something. 100%. Our defense was their plaything. They broke through. They broke through easily in the first half. Second half, not as much, but definitely there were some issues. But that is also for many reasons. Big up, Ronnie. Big up. You also need a proper right winger too. Suck out here doing a Madueke. Dude, at least he got an assist. Like, Saka's performance was shocking today. No, maybe not shocking. It was poor, very poor. But at least he stepped up and got an assist when it mattered. At least he got us the draw. At least that, I guess. But yeah, Saka definitely is not on it as well. Definitely is not as well. Smash the likes, people, if you haven't already, and also subscribe if you are new. Can't play those kids, bro. Not in this game. Well, in the second half, as a sub, you could try, but you could see that our main attack was not working. Our main team was not working, and our main senior players also were not on it. Subbing on maybe a few youngsters who have the naivety, who have that passion, who want to prove themselves, maybe could have changed the game. Who knows? Definitely would have made it too much worse in the attack, without shadow of a doubt. Just see what would have happened. Sometimes I just wish Arteta would take more chances in this regard. Like, gamble a bit, Take a gamble. Take a punt. Take one of the youngsters. Put them on. Sometimes I feel like that. We can't play kids when Yeri's like 18. Well, when Yeri would have been better starting than Martinelli. Potentially, but we will obviously never knew that. We will never, ever do that. What are the positive, though? For me, it's we didn't lose. But we have Brentford next. We should win against Brentford at home. At home, we can rotate and we can do anything. So definitely we should be able to win. We should win, not be should be able to win. We should win. That goes without saying. We should win that game. That goes without saying. The positives from today's game. Best case scenario is what you're saying is the fact that we didn't lose. At the same time, Chelsea didn't do enough to win even. They scored a one corner with 10 men and that's it. Overall. Like, it wasn't like a sublime, it wasn't spectacular Raya performance where he made like 4 or 5 mind-blowing saves and all this stuff. It wasn't any of those type of kinds. Let's just put it that way. Chelsea just left half their team upfield for our corners. Yeah, Chelsea defended our corners with 5 men, and the rest of the 4 or 5 men were up there for counter. And they did an ideal job in neutralizing us as well. They basically did man-to-man defending, and they absolutely nullified our run-ins. Absolutely nullified our run-ins. And Sanchez came out, collected the ball, and then tried to find a quick outlet on the counter. And that happened also last year. And it happened year before when we started these free kick and set piece routines we started to do, more or less. Porto did the same thing. Lisbon did the same thing. Shakhtar did the same thing. And it kind of evolved, and other teams are starting to do that as well. It's not the first time. It definitely won't be the last. True, but I know a lot of Ranieri could have cracked Chelsea. True, there is. I agree, but we start those kids now. It doesn't work. They're gonna blame Arteta. Well, not start them. Sub them on. For me, don't start them. Just sub them on. Why not? Just take a punt on them. God, won't get much worse. Let's just put it that way. Talking about that's between you all. Great point about Jamal. We just saw him versus this team, and he held 3-0 and absolutely nothing. Yeah, the Cucurella locked him down. Cucurella totally locked him down as well. Keep Ezeon with Odegaard attack the shit. Yeah, that would have been the ideal scenario for me. Keep Ezeon, sub on Odegaard, put Gyökeres up top, and see what happens. Genuinely see what happens. At least have a goal, because, well, in attack we were quite impotent in the attack, for lack of a better word. We could have won this easily. Yeah, but it's been like that this season. The games we actually could have won and should have won, just like Liverpool away, the City at home, and all these teams. If Arteta was just a tiny bit braver, and it always comes down to that. If Arteta was more brave, if Arteta took a gamble, if Arteta took a risk, and unfortunately playing it safe, or doing the predictable position per position, it always results into that. Big up Stockholm Gooner. Hope you're doing well today. Bigger. Thank you. Yeah, ref also wasn't great. I'm not gonna lie, ref also wasn't great today. I'm gonna give you that, but hey, without the referees, we should have done something still. Cannot blame the refs for everything. The day I was hoping Saka stepped up, he stung the... Well, that is the thing. Saka's performances have been very not it. Throughout the course of last season, even before that, Saka's performances have been not it at the end of the day. He still gets GA on occasion. Right now, it's on occasion. It's not even consistently like last year. But the performances are not there. He had a good game against... When was it against? 2 games ago? 3 games ago? He had a good game, but he didn't get GA. Sometimes we need the performance for him as well. Unfortunately, he didn't have it today. But ironically enough, he was the only one who even to any level stepped up today. The only one. Yes, he had a shit performance, but at the same time, he was the only one that actually created something for us to score from. That is the nuts part. Yeah, 9 subs away. I lost 3 subs. Just because I uploaded 2 videos instead of streaming. Makes you wonder who are the real ones here to some extent. Hence why I'm gonna keep uploading videos as well. I'm not gonna succumb to streaming all the time as well, but it looks that way. Is there's a moments player versus 10 we had to keep him on? Yeah, without shadow of a doubt. Felipe Luis is a really good manager. I haven't watched really any of Flamenco against results out there. Yeah, Felipe Luis is doing a good job. Good. Big up, Dr. Seymour. Big up. Hope you're doing well today. Arteta has no fire and passion as the manager. The thing is, he has the fire and the passion as the manager. It feels like that he expresses it the wrong way, because he starts to scream, flail his arms about, and yell at the refs, which for me just panics more the players on the pitch than actually helps the players, because they see that the manager is vexed, so they also get vexed. Let's be real, they overthink, overdo, overrush, and do all these things that they should not be doing at the end of the day. Let's just put it that way. It feels like it's a double-edged sword, because at some points it can work magic. Everyone's on fire, everyone gets wild up, and everyone just goes for it, and it works out. But many times it causes more panic than does good. Unfortunately, it feels like it actually is panicking us more than anything at times. Definitely. Feels like it's not helping us, let's just say, for the lack of a better word. But yeah. You know now Eze ain't starting another game because I'm not gonna get into that today. Definitely not getting into that today. But there is a very big argument to be made for that. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, let's see what Mikel Arteta had to say after today's draw. Let's just put it that way. Big up DJ too. Big up, big up, big up. Arteta is a coach that made the change at halftime. Take off Merino for Gyökeres, Mendy for Ethan. Yeah. That's the big thing. When we have these chances to win certain games, right? Arteta tends to fumble the bag. It was like that against Liverpool, was like that against City, was like that against Sunderland, and it happened today again. Because if you look at all those 4 games where we have dropped points this season separately, those are games if Arteta was a bit more brave, if Arteta actually did something proactively, if we actually went for it, we could have won, and probably we would have won. And the nuts part is that means you know what that means on the table. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, Sunderland beat Chelsea at the bridge as well. Yep. But yeah, let's see what Mikel Arteta has said after the game. First of all, whether we should have won 3 points. First of all, I think it was a proper London derby. It was real tense, and you could sense it from the beginning. 2 teams very willing to win, and not much football. Well, I can agree to that. There wasn't much football in this game, without shadow of a doubt. There was not much football in that game. A lot of stops, free kicks, yellow cards, and a lot of fluidity, but obviously after setting off Caicedo, we wanted to sell the game. We didn't manage to do that. Well, that's true. We had 4 more yellow cards, and those players were obviously targeted in order to even the game in terms of numbers. That counts. So basically, he didn't answer to anything. If we should have won the 3 points, he didn't say anything too much that. On our players at the back learning from the match, it's been a big week. It's been a big week, starting with the derby, with how emotional and the intention we had to win it, then play Bayern Munich 3 days later. We lost players in those games, and today, for example, we had to play a partnership we hadn't played before in a really difficult match. And that is true. And that is why I'm not so annoyed with Hincapié and Mosquera in general. They had a decent game, the first time playing pretty much together full 90. Mosquera made some 2 brilliant tackles to stop them from actually getting a proper scoring chance or a shooting chance. So it's not that bad. The captain is still not here. It's about Odegaard, isn't it? Number 9 is still not here. That's about Kai Havertz, probably. Kai Havertz is still not here, and we lost Leo midweek as well. Where is Saliba talk? But the team had to react to that and blah, blah, blah. On whether a tiring week took its toll. Yes, I definitely believe that this was a very tiring week, physically and emotionally. And today on the pitch, it showed quite heavily. We played every 2.5 days, so we had 1 less day than Chelsea to prepare. That's not an excuse. On top of that, we lost players. Also not an excuse. But this is the schedule. We are now going to have to play Wednesday for sure. It drives you on. There's a lot at stake. Yeah, not many teams have opportunity to play games we have played this week. And I'm extremely proud of the team. Big up to him. On taking positives from a good away point. I'm not going to say it's a good away point. That is overstatement to say the least. A good away point. Seriously. Holy crap. That's the feeling that we have and the standards that we set to ourselves. Probably it's because of the spirit, the hunger, and how much they want it. Okay, so many bigger things have happened, but we have to prepare very well for Wednesday to try to be better than Brentford. Okay. On the impact of losing both Saliba and Gabriel. There we go. It's been a headache because we have to have a lot of options and changes over the last few months for different reasons. That one is very unexpected and it happened yesterday. But the beauty of it is that you have the players so willing to play, so willing to connect. Yeah. On how squad depth was tested at Stamford Bridge, to be fair. Though, our depth has been tested since preseason because we lost 6 or 7 players constantly out of the squad. That's true, to be honest. But I have no doubt that with the squad we have immensely of players we have. On the conditions of Saliba and Gabriel, I don't know. I think Willow has another test tomorrow to see the extent of that feeling. That sounds like a psychology lesson or something. That sensation that he had, then we will know more. Blood, just say he's injured. Just say he has a groin, a muscle, or something. What is this therapeutic session with scented candles, lying on the couch, and a therapist listening to your feelings? Another test tomorrow to see the extent of that feeling, that sensation that he had. What the hell is this about? With Gubby, there's still some weeks to go. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Let's remove this from the screen and let's see what you've got to say in the chat. Holy crap. For years, they haven't seen gold. Yeah, that's true. That's true. This was an NFL game. Yeah, it was definitely an NFL game. Definitely. It felt like that without shadow of doubt. We can't even beat 10-man Chelsea. Dude, we could not beat 10-man United or 10-man Fulham over the years. So nothing unique in that one, isn't it? We somehow struggle against 10 men, which is understandable because 10-man teams usually drop more back, make it more packed and harder for the team that has the player advantage to score. But again, you should be able to exploit that. Guys are still winning the league. Which guys? Are we supposed to win the Premier League still another trophy? We can't do that. Well, we'll see. Our starting center backs missing wasn't the reason why we lost, though. Yeah, exactly. We were toothless, lacking in urgency, ruthless up front. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Our defense was not bad at the end of the day. We conceded only one goal. It's the attack and midfield that let us down at the end of the day. Because many times our midfield was like a cheddar cheese, massive holes in them, and other teams ran through it and the Chelsea ran through it like no tomorrow. And our attack was impotent. They didn't attack. They couldn't create. They couldn't do anything. Again, too pragmatic, out of ideas, too robotic, too predictable, and at the end of the day, it cost us. And of course, if you include the fatigue, the mental focus that felt like wasn't there, we were nervous all over the place, misplacing easy passes, third massive game in span of 7 days, it all accumulates together with what we saw today. 1-1 draw, and it's not great. It's painful to the maximum extent, but we better win against Brentford. If we don't win against Brentford, right, on Wednesday, we won't dominate anything, but we will still win. Hopefully. Big up, Kwaja. Big up, Kwaja. Hope you're doing well today. But yeah, people, smash the likes and subscribe. Chelsea 1, Arsenal 1, like head settings. Yeah. And to be honest, the team as well wasn't great. I guess it is what it is to that regard. Arteta said Willow didn't have a major injury. Well, he said that, but he needs to check the feeling, the sensation he had. Maybe it was a sneeze. Maybe it was like a sneeze, but a bit better. If you have watched Friends, you know what I'm talking about. Squad has been tested since preseason. Well, the players being out and technically speaking, no rotation, when in reality Arteta just is not subbing on and rotating the players he has at his disposal. That's what he means. If you want me to translate that to you, let's just put it that way, because yes, we have had quite a few players out. Then again, if you look at our bench, we have players we can sub on, but we don't. We have players that could play. Arteta don't utilize them. So at the end of the day, it's both. We'll see. Arteta waffles on injury info because it would cause panic and raise questions. Exactly. Now, y'all, I know I don't get all gassed and giddy about the team. Exactly. Same. And also don't. Odegaard slowed the attacking. Why can't Lego had recognized this? Where was Ethan? Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna lie. When Odegaard came on as a sub, he actually wasn't bad compared to what we have seen, right? He wasn't exceptional either. But he did some things that actually helped us to create and score that goal and all that crap, basically, right? He did few good moves. Let's just put it that way. Like, even broken clock is right twice a day. You know how that goes. Right? But overall, yeah, it wasn't great. Swiss cheese, bro. Cheddar is a firm block. Swiss got the holes. Yeah. I said Swiss cheese. Exactly. Swiss cheese. That was our midfield today. 100%. Saka registered 2 assists in 2 games. Saka registered his first assist in Premier League in a year. Last time Saka got an assist in Premier League was, well, November 30th, 2024, in the 5-2 win against West Ham when he got 3 assists. That was the last time Saka got an assist in Premier League. It's been a year since he assisted in Premier League. Now that Odegaard is back, yeah, he's gonna start. I don't want to talk about it today, but there's a big possibility of that. Saka is nowhere near our best player. Like, at the moment, no. Definitely not. How you bring on Sloga putting Slow Marino in center mid when you need the back? That's the thing. Keep Eze on. Genuinely, keep Eze on. Sub on Odegaard if you want to. Put Gyökeres up top. But don't take away creative and direct ball carrying type of players in a game where you so-called have the advantage, and for lack of a better word, you desperately need a goal to win the game. Like, let's be real. Like, you don't do that, and obviously he did that. Trossard better than the whole attack. Not the whole attack, but a big part, definitely. For Chelsea game, Lego had players to rotate. Vaneri, Gyökeres, Jesus, Madueke. Where's his excuse coming from? Well, go figure. There is always an excuse, DG. If you know, you know. If you know Arsenal, if you know how this goes around, there is always an excuse for every situation, for every moment that happens at the club, right? If you miss an open goal, it means that the grass wasn't cut too low, or it was cut too high. If you slip and fall, it means when the dog took a dookie on the pitch, right? If you miss a game, if you get injured, it means you have basically injured your hamstring while getting out of bed and sneezing at the same time, and all this stuff. It's always something. Or if you genuinely are out of the squad in general, it means your neighbor's goldfish's second cousin has passed away and you need to attend its flushing down the toilet. I can see Eze being pushed aside. Eze could be at left wing. If Trossard is out for extended period of time right now with that injury, and Arteta wants to put Odegaard into the team, Eze is the perfect reason for him to put him up there on the left wing. Because Martinelli is not it, and Madueke also is not it. Let's just put it that way. Why we have such big squad and see the same knuckleheads every game? That is a big question, right? Exactly. We have big squad, biggest squad, best squad in the league and all this stuff, yet we see the same 2, 3, 4 players every single time. Rest of them are there just to heat the seats at the end of the day, to heat the seats. Yep, his coach as well is Haywall today, by the way. Odegaard gets a 3 for me, absolutely useless. But he was involved. No, at least he was involved in something. 1 year ago today, since Saka registered Premier League. Yes, exactly. It was a year. We had to wait for a year for Bukayo Saka's assist. I know that he was injured for a while, but it has been a year since we have to wait for Saka's assist. MLS, I feel like he will leave this summer. Well, it depends. It strictly depends. I think many players maybe are exploring the option of leaving. Many players are also resigning the deals. And I think that it's Andrea Berta just telling them, if you don't win anything this season, big possibility this manager is out of the club and you will get what you want. MLS in the 8, 1 year in the 10 potentially. We're going to play more attacking football. You can express yourselves. It will be a clean slate. You'll get another chance and all this stuff. Maybe there's something to it. But if Arteta stays and all this stuff, if he keeps treating MLS, 1 year the same way, would not be surprised if transfer requests, loan requests, and all this stuff comes in so they can get away from the club until this manager goes. Then again, I am reading random rumors across the social media that Mikel Arteta could be poised for a new contract. Cheers. MLS in the left 8, yeah. The prodigal son returns, yeah. The prodigal son returns. Odegaard had some opportunities to feed the ball, but keeps holding. Yeah, that is one of the most frustrating things about Odegaard. He holds on for the ball way too much. He doesn't unleash it. He needs too many touches to make a pass. And if he could do quick passing, 1-2, quick type of passing, play quick triangles, quick through balls, Odegaard could have double-digit assists every single season with his eyes closed. Because the amount of chances he misses and or ignores to a certain degree with these extra 50 touches, right, is actually mind-blowing. Ben White could have replaced Calafiore and moved Hincapié to the left back. Potentially, 100%. I think you're looking for a move in January. Maybe. As soon as he took Eze off for Odegaard, I knew we ain't winning. Yep, true. Eze was needed. If you want Odegaard so badly on, sub him on for Merino, and then sub on, for example, someone Gyökeres for Martinelli, and change the formation mid-game. Put 2-3 creative 10s behind Gyökeres, play on him. Madueke, move him maybe a bit more central, play on him, switch to 3 at the back, do something. Not player per player substitutions, and nothing changes. Throw the kitchen sink at them. They have 10 men, for God's sakes. Big up, Most Wanted. Big up. This is one of these players today. Saka, if not for that assist, he tried shooting from angles. He knew it was tough to score from. Yeah, Saka is also very selfish. He has to have some goal bonuses written into his contract, hence why there are many chances he can pass the ball off to basically have an open, clear-cut chance, and he just doesn't. And he just shoots, and it's blocked, it hits Rosette, or it's saved by the goalkeeper. There has to be something to that as well. 100%. Girona 1-0 up on Real Madrid on 45th minute, just before Mbappe had a goal disallowed. Good. Yeah, Yildiz, Robinson, Stupinian. We could have had Tariq Mitchell potentially on free, Olaena in the summer. There were lots of opportunities. I think it's okay to make excuse while talking to other people who support other clubs, but we need accountability from our fan base and with ourselves. No excuses for anything. No excuses for anything. Let's be real. No excuses for anything. Arsenal are not my kid, so I can make excuses in front of some teachers or some other people, my neighbors, when they do something up, and then I lay into them, right? They are not my kid. There is accountability or no excuses. Exactly. Chelsea was better than us today with 11 versus 10 men. Fact. That TikTok guy who does the songs are back at it. Oh, bloody hell. Here we go. At least is he in the new house, or is he still in the cabana on Nana and all this stuff? When Chelsea went down to 10 men, then when Gary should have come. Yeah. Or you genuinely sub on if you are so desperate to get your Norwegian haircut, baby feeding guy on, right? Who doesn't sleep and all this stuff, right? Sub him on, but leave Eze on as well at least. Put Merino in the midfield, put Gyökeres up top. They go down to 10 men. Change the game. Do the Uno reverse card on them. Because they're going down to 10 men, which means they're gonna be more compact. They're gonna park the bus to a certain degree. They're gonna sit back more. Stretch them out. Indulge them. Press them. Make them run out of their places. Do something. But nothing changed. Point per point substitutions. Player per player substitutions. Same patterns, same style, same passing lines, same everything. Nothing. Credit to the defense today after that sloppy first half, the goal included with the yellow cards. They stood firm, yes. Credit to them, especially Mosquera and Hincapié. First time playing together, full 90 in a very big game. Especially for Hincapié, not big experience in Premier League. Credit to them where credit is due. Let's be real. If Arteta stays on, there's no way if their position I would want to stay. Yeah, exactly. Same. To be honest, same. There are these things where I can work the job, my supervisor and everything. I don't like them. There are talks that he might get fired. There are talks that he might leave my department to go in a different department to work. And you know that there is some sort of a deadline that by, let's just say, in 2-3 months or half a year, their decision will be made. What's going to happen with him, whether he's going to get fired, whether he's going to stay, whether he's going to move somewhere else. Okay, I will survive that half a year. But if he stays in his position, I'm leaving. Don't care. Because I have to look out for myself, for my emotional state, for my physical state, for my well-being, for my future, and my family at the end of the day. No club would keep Arteta right now as the coach. Tell me one club who would keep. No big club would keep a manager for 6 years with no trophies. Simple as that. Rice had to drop in front of the defense because Hincapié was struggling, which took away from our attack. True, to some extent, yeah, 100%. At the same time, the more they play together, the more accustomed they will get to Premier League, to each other and everything, the bigger chances are they will stood firm on each other. They will stand firm together without shadow of a doubt. Then again, who knows? Who knows? But yeah, we'll see what's going to happen with Saliba, though, because Saliba's injury is the next big thing we need to be very wary about at the moment. Arteta has to be sacked end of season, bringing Zidane or Luis Enrique. Interesting that you mentioned that, because Zidane apparently is taking over. Who is Blanc or Deschamps? Who is the manager? France manager currently is Didier Deschamps, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Didier Deschamps. Yeah? Or am I tripping? Didier Deschamps. It looks that way. Yeah, the thing is, what I have read so far, Zinedine Zidane is taking over after Didier Deschamps as the France manager after the World Cup. That is the first one. And Luis Enrique, the PSG manager, is looked at by Liverpool if it all goes south at Liverpool with Arne Slot. So there's a big possibility Arsenal are getting none of them. That's what I have read so far in reports, in articles, in the last few days. It's going well. Definitely it's going well. Each other once they start. That is the thing. But we won the... When? Like 3 years ago. We need another CM. We need a left wing, we need a CM, and we need a left back. And a striker. Ironically enough. Felipe Luis. Maybe. The Flamenco manager, maybe. I want Luis Enrique 2-1 down to Spurs, and then we went to win 5-3. That's what I need at Arsenal. Yeah, true. They lost to Monaco, though. They lost to Monaco over yesterday against 10-man Monaco. That was interesting, to be honest. That was very interesting, and very interesting will be see how that's going to affect the league. But they lost to Monaco yesterday. But yeah, we need to sell some of the players, 100%. Like, your Fabio Vieiras, Nelsons, Lokongas, Jesus, Havertz, even Ben White to some degree, Martinelli to some degree. We need to sell quite a few of them. Yeah, De Zerbi is doing good at... De Zerbi is doing very good at Marseille. What about De La Fuente? Not sure. Yes, he's doing well with Spain. That goes without saying. He's the Spain national team manager, and he's doing wonders with them. But with De La Fuente, I'm actually not sure whether he would want to be a club manager at the moment, at least, because he hasn't coached a club since 2013. The last time he coached a team, a club, was literally 12 years ago. Since 13 to 18, he coached Spain under 19s. 18-22, he coached under 21s. In 21, he coached under 23s. And since 2022, he has coached Spain national team. So basically, he knows all the ins and outs of Spanish youth system and Spanish players, because he has brought everyone up basically himself. So hence why he can pick the best players needed for his style, for the club, for the national team, and everything. And he hasn't been at the club level for 12 years. Not so sure he would want to make that change. The Lens manager is doing good also. Like, the thing is, we all are saying, we need this manager, we need that manager. I want a manager who is a proven winner. I'm sick and tired of these wannabe managers who have won genuinely jack shit. I need a winner who has won the league, who has won the cup, if possible, who has won the Champions League. I want some proven winner who has done it at the most extreme circumstances against the biggest of pressures and all this stuff. Still want Luis Enrique. He has the tactics to beat Chelsea. Yeah, 100% Luis Enrique today beats. He definitely beats them, 100%. Zinedine Zidane, where is it? Yeah, Zinedine Zidane is taking over the Deschamps' job after the World Cup. That has been pretty much confirmed, if I'm not mistaken already. Give me a sec. Yeah, he's going to take over after the World Cup. And Luis Enrique. Yeah, and Liverpool at the moment are targeting Luis Enrique if they sack Arne Slot. It's kind of annoying because those are two managers would be interesting to see at Arsenal, and both of them are being basically swooped up as we are still sitting with Mikel Arteta. Let's just put it that way. Very annoying. I'm not gonna lie. Very, very, very annoying to say the least. But I guess it is what it is. Yeah, it's a bit of a downer today, isn't it? That draw against Chelsea really not great. Let's just put it that way. Really, really, really not great. Obviously, where is it? Yeah, Girona still 1-0 up. Skelly and Ranieri know that this will be Arteta's last season if he fails to win the... Could be the case. Could be the case. Otherwise, I don't know why they would sign. Though obviously I know why they would sign, because the massive salary increase, but there has to be something to it. Obviously, all these conspiracies as well about the fact that players are re-signing new deals whilst Mikel Arteta is here just because they believe in Mikel Arteta, just like Declan Rice said in an interview. Whether it's true or not, go figure it out and go believe or not. It's a bit different story, of course, but this is... wait. This is the biggest worry, if I can find it. If I can find it, of course. If I can find it. Obviously, Berta has hired Maurizio Micheli. And this for me is the biggest worry. This for me personally is the biggest worry right now. Sources have told that Arsenal transfer agent Bailey that the sporting director has already discussed a new deal with Mikel Arteta, with it confirmed to be the pair will discuss further details in 2026. So next year, allegedly, Andrea Berta is going to sit down with Mikel Arteta to discuss a new deal. And apparently the whole club are entirely aligned with what new contract will be deservedly offered to Arteta. This at the moment is the biggest worry. That is the biggest worry, no matter how you look at it. Big up, Quasha. Big up. The only thing that's weird, we draw or lose, then we go on a run. That is the hope. Let's just put it that way. We drew to Sunderland, then we won a few games. Then now we drew to Chelsea. Let's just hope we go on like a 5-10 game winning streak. Because the schedule until the end of the year is very favorable for us to pretty much win every single game. Yes, we have Villa away and Villa at home, right? But besides that, our games are very, 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 very winnable. Like, if you look at the schedule for Arsenal, right? We have Brentford, winnable. Villa away, winnable. Club Brugge away. That's Champions League. Let's not worry about that one. Wolves at home, winnable. Everton away, will be interesting, but winnable. Palace at home in Carabao Cup, winnable. Brighton at home, winnable. Aston Villa at home, winnable. All games are winnable. Players are signing for the money. It's a guaranteed wage earner for them. Yeah, true. Exactly. And if you go from like 8 grand to like 45 or 80 or 65 grand, like some of them, it definitely is a very, very, very good incentive for them Resigning a deal at the end of the day. Yeah, it is. But yeah, people, I think on that note, I'm going to end today's stream. If you haven't already, smash the like, subscribe if you're new. I'm going to go relax. I'm going to go prepare for tomorrow. Whether I'm going to stream tomorrow or not depends to be seen. I might upload a video. Still haven't figured that stuff out. But we'll see how that goes. But yeah, for right now, I'm signing off. So take care, stay safe, and see you soon. Peace.